Welcome once again to How to Relate to Anyone. Here is Dr. Orv Owens.
Well, hello. We welcome you to this lesson on desires. Spiritual desires. The spirit part of you, which is your religious life, but more than that, it's goes into every area of your life. The spirit you carry, you project spirit, in fact. So when I meet you, I can sense your spirit, we say. And it's the part of you that is places a high value on peace, joy, all the positives. And we strive in life to have that spiritual side of our life taken care of. Some people go to extremes. Some people use potions and whatever, drugs, hypnotherapy, all kinds of things to try getting peace of mind. That's the desires of all of us, is to have peace and joy and so how we go about doing that is something that's well worthwhile. More than that, as far as this course is concerned, how to recognize the desires of a prospect, a client, an employee, a friend, your spouse. It's amazing, I found in marriage counseling that very few men have the slightest idea what the spiritual desire of their wife is. In fact, most of them really don't have much understanding of the needs either. Wants, they can talk about wants, because that's physical, because most men tend to relate to others based on a physical relationship, more so than a woman who relates more on a spiritual and an emotional level. So anyway, in sales and management and dealing with people and any kind of relationship we want to talk about, understanding somebody's spiritual desires and fulfilling them creates a solid relationship where there's so much comfort and trust. The trust level is so high that it's what we would call a true close relationship. Now in close, that can have definitions also. Understand there's close family, there's close business, there's close in sales. You know, one of my favorite clients, or one of my clients says, you're one of my favorite agents, or one of my favorite salespeople, or one of my favorite bosses, or whatever. Those things, that recognition is based upon touching on and relating to spiritual desires. Very few people have really made a study of this in their own lives, and so I want to give you just some insights of things you can do to be as effective as possible in satisfying and relating to your clients, your employees, your friends, your relatives, your family on a spiritual level, and satisfying their desires. The fatalist, remember the fatalist motivation is a fear motivation, fear of failure, and so the desire then of that motivation is to have security. How do I feel secure? How can I feel so secure that I can't move? That's a grave, incidentally, but we also like to think of being able to get into a position where we have that position established and it's comfortable. Well, the fatalistic motivation of the fear of failure, the fear of falling apart, the fear of not counting it, the fear of not quite making it, not matching up with what the expectations are. All those fears that are fatalistic fears come from a fear of failure, And they have to be offset with a desire for security, or a desire for being taken care of, or completeness in whatever we're working on. How do you do that? Reassurance, using the proper words. Low expectations is part of it. It's easier to, in a management role, to have low expectations than too high expectations. Because in low expectations, you're not putting so much pressure on people that they fail, especially new employees, people who've been with you for less than a year. You put too much pressure on and you're going to lose them in many cases. Much turnover in personnel comes from people feeling too much pressure. Just can't live with this pressure and have to get out from under this pressure. I hear it all the time as a consultant. People who are just running from pressure. Well, that pressure comes from the top down, obviously, and so as a manager, you do not want to put pressure on people. What you want to do is give them an avenue for success. Responsibility, but not so much that it buries them. What causes the secure feeling then is a reassurance that if you have a problem, come and see me. If it's not coming together, if you feel ill at ease, that's on the desire level, the emotional, the spiritual level, at ease, not at ease. Something's not quite right in my life. That feeling is a scary thing for people, and it causes them to start backing off from responsibility and actually quit jobs and become less productive in their lives because they can't take on that added responsibility that it takes to be a fulfilled person in any level of life. We have to find fulfillment in all levels of life. You know, as a teenager, as a young adult, as a newlywed, all those things cause adjustments. And the adjustments need to be made in a way that doesn't put demands on people, but does have working relationships that cause a high level of success in this area of satisfying desires. Unity is a desire of everybody to be one with, and that's true also with the person with a fatalistic motivation. To have somebody that cares so much for you that they go to bat for you, that satisfies that desire in the fatalist. The exasperator is a little different because of their strong approach to everything and their dynamics and they're grabbing for all the gusto they can get because they only go around once. That's a beer ad from a few years back. And so the desires of the exasperator is acceptance for their position, acceptance for their power, acceptance for, wow, I mean, you accomplished all that. I can't believe one guy could do all that stuff. Oh, nothing to it. That satisfies. They love titles. They like rank. They like labels that are positive labels. Anything that identifies with success, that labels them. So, you know, a first sergeant is a first sergeant. A commander, a chief of police. You know, I just did some work with some chiefs, and you know, they wear that badge proudly. It's a label that gives a position and it gives a fulfillment of a high level of achievement in their life, that they have been moved to that level, and it gives them a sense of security on a spiritual level, and it satisfies their desires. Uniforms are used as symbols to grade level of responsibility people carry, but also authority people have. And so to recognize those things for the exasperator is vitally important. I mean, you're first sergeant, wow, a lot of responsibility. The appraiser's desires are for credentials, titles. I have this degree, I have this level of recognition, I have this level of licensing, of certification. Those kind of words are important to appraisers because they are symbols of or indicators of achievement of levels of productivity, knowledge, and experience, and place them with a title, so to speak, that signifies their achievement. So, a defined job description, proof of accomplishments, proof of achieving. And in dealing with appraisers, if you're in sales, you have to give the proof that this is going to satisfy their very desires of their heart. I know what you want, I know what you need, but this is going to satisfy your desires. And that's a higher level. And when you can say that to a client and mean it and show them why it's going to satisfy their desires, that's important. The desires also of the appraiser is they're conservative, so they want to know that they're getting the best possible buy. They want to know that they're getting the best possible service. And they'll ask you, did you guarantee this? Can you give me the assurance that this is going to work? They ask those questions. And they desire a secure position. They like to know that I am the vice president of or secretary of. They identify with their titles and identify with the job description that goes with those titles. That's who they are as a person. The appraisers, probably about as much as any, identify with the title that they carry in their workplace. Exasperators identify with how tough their job is, and they're tough enough to make it happen. The relators, which we'll get to now, desire best friend relationships. They want everybody to think of them as their best friend. They desire to know that you place them on somewhat of a pedestal as in the friendship level. Not that they worship you, but that you feel they are so special to you. You are so special. The word, when people say you're so special to me, that's a spiritual thing. It's far more than emotional. It's far more than physical. It's on that high level of the spiritual level. Think about you often. That's a spiritual thing. When people feel included in the inner circle, we want you to be a part of our group. We want you to be a part of the inner circle here. That's vitally important to relators because now they're in the in-group. The in-group is very important spiritually to satisfy the desires of a relator. And these are words you use and tell them what we're asking you to do here in this job situation is become a part of the team. You're a vital team member. That satisfies a spiritual level. It's interesting, in working with professional athletes, I've had opportunity to work with several professional football teams and a couple basketball teams and also some college and high school coaches and their teams. And in sports, team is a vitally important word, and team is a spiritual desire. It's a spiritual level, being a team member. in the truest sense, not just wearing the uniform, but a team member in spirit. We hear it voiced often. We have a real team going here. We have a unity. We have, all for one and one for all type thing. And that's vitally important for relators, because for relators, being one with, being in unity with somebody is a completeness. It's a sense of a marriage, so to speak, an informal marriage. We come together and we trust each other and believe in each other and feel for each other. And when one hurts, the other feels the pain. When one cries, the other one tastes salt. That's all unity relationship things that relators desire. They'd like every relationship to be there, and they're disappointed when they're not. Biggest disappointment I ever had was, and normally they're about ready to tell you that we just never clicked. We just never really got it together. We just never were really close. Relators desire to be preferred above all else as far as people in relationships. They prefer to be your best friend, not just a friend. And because they prefer to be your best friend, they do those things that they hope will cause you to pull them into your inner circle. Each of these 4 fear motivations are desperately needed to make people feel comfortable in a relationship with you, whether it's sales, management, friendship, whatever. Yeah, the more of these wants, needs, and desires you can satisfy, the more you will find that you have built organizations at work, you have clients that give referral business, you have friends who go to bat for you when you need them. All of that's so vitally important to us in life, and it comes from building trust relationships, and that's what we're really talking about. Well, the love-motivated person desires unity, one with. The ability to think on the same page, to have the same focus, the same direction, the same goals, the same look at achieving. What is real achievement in our situation here? Having that as a common thing, as opposed to division and divisiveness. That is the opposite of what they really desire in their working relationships. Common focus. It's a thing that most people with love motivation work on every day. How can we create common focus where we're all focused on the same project and its goals and how we're going to get there? It's a sense of high level of productivity, because great things are achieved when you have those kind of relationships. Another part of the desires of the love-motivated person is loyalty. They tend to be fiercely loyal. Is fiercely a good word there? I'm not sure. But super loyal. They just believe in loyalty, and they will go to bat for you. I've seen people step up for people that person didn't even know they cared, but they were so loyal to that friendship, so loyal to that employee, so loyal to that client that they've gone to bat for them. And that's a great symbol of true love-motivated relationship. And the trust level goes so high then, and it allows for great achievements and achieving because of the high trust level of working relationships with others. You're going to need to go back through these 3 lessons in order to really get it, and probably even go back through the 5 motivational lessons as a refresher to get maximum out of this. what I'd recommend is let it soak for a week or two and then do a little review. I mean, these are only 20-minute shows, so you do that while you're taking a shower. 20-minute shower, 20 minutes in the bathtub. You can view one of these videos. Anyway, we appreciate you being a part of our show and tuning us in each time. And we look forward to next time. We're going into a whole different level of thought process in the next lessons. We're going to look at love motivation and fear motivation above the line and below the line, and the dimensions of failure downward or love motivation upward, and how to know where you are and how to get where you want to be consistently. We call it above and below the line, and we'll look forward to having you tune in. It's going to be at least 5 lessons and possibly 6, depending on how wordy I get. But I think you're going to find it super valuable, because you're going to find out where you are today, this moment, and what you need to do is get where you need to be highly productive. And that's the goal. So we'll look forward to seeing you on the next lesson.